Never waste a good crisis. And when it comes to the economic crisis, don't waste it when it can have a very positive impact.
You never want a serious crisis to go to waste.
The way we're going to win over the long term is not just militarily. We've got to win over hearts and minds. And what that means is we've got to invest in countries that have no educational infrastructure and have no means for young people to get ahead. We've got to give them a stake in creating the kind of world order that I think all of us would like to see.
Stay tuned for politics and religion.
Well, freedom is at war on many fronts. We can't simply guard one area of liberty, whether it's freedom of speech or if it's freedom of broadcasting. The actual attacks on our freedoms are coming from so many different areas that we have to be aware and ready to fight on all fronts. An article today is saying that Janet Napolitano, who is, of course, our Secretary of Homeland Security, says that Internet monitoring is needed to fight homegrown terrorism. Now, this is the proposal, that they have the right to monitor all Internet traffic. Do you believe that the government should be monitoring your Internet traffic? Is that freedom, or is that communism, or is that Nazism? What is it? Now, we have to ask this question because all we have to do to lose our freedoms is nothing. That's all we have to do. Here's the story. Fighting homegrown terrorism by monitoring Internet communications is a civil liberties trade-off. It's a bad word. The U.S. government must make to beef up national security, the nation's Homeland Security chief said Friday. Now, what are we willing to give up as far as liberty goes in the name of security? How many people are we willing to lose to maintain freedom? Most of our wars from the beginning of this nation have been fought to maintain freedom, and we have been willing to lose manpower, human lives, in the name of freedom. Now then, they're saying we're going to have to deliver freedom and to surrender freedom in order for us to have security, to keep from losing lives. So at some point, America has to decide, how frightened are we? How much of our liberty are we willing to surrender? If we don't draw that line, we will lose all of our liberty because the process is already far advanced right now. Now, the article goes on to say, by the way, let me stop there first of all. So if they can tap the Internet, monitor your Internet, of course, they have the ability to do it. The only thing is it legal? If it's illegal, then they're going to get sued, and they may even be thrown into prison before it's over with if they do this. So the thing that you and I have to decide is, number one, do you agree with this? Number two, if they need to monitor the Internet to keep us safe, then do they need to monitor our mail? And do they need to listen to our phone calls? And do they need to plant bugs in our houses and in our cars so they can listen to us at all times? Now remember, they're wanting to do this without any warrant, without any permission, without the oversight of any court anywhere. That has never been heard of. Ladies and gentlemen, are you listening to me? This article comes from Associated Press. It comes from the Fox News Network, that this is what they're wanting to do. They're wanting to monitor the Internet. If they can do that, they can monitor your mail, they can monitor your phone calls, they can monitor your private conversations. And now then, you live in a continual monitored state. Is that what we want? Are we ready to surrender all freedom because we are such cowards? We want the government to watch over us 24/7. Or is it time for the American spirit to be recovered and say, government, look, I'll take my chances. just get your hands off of my freedom. That's what's at stake here, ladies and gentlemen. The article goes on to say, as terrorists increasingly recruit U.S. citizens, the government needs to constantly balance American civil rights and privacy with the need to keep people safe. Okay, so this is the argument. You want your civil rights and privacy, or you want to be safe? You know, maybe we should have both, you think? Maybe we want to keep our civil rights and our privacy and stay safe. If there's an enemy among us that needs to be driven out, then let's do whatever it takes to drive them out, like we've always done. Let's restore safety to our borders. Now, the argument is being made that recently there have been several terrorist attacks from homegrown people. Now, they almost always have Arabic names, but yet they're born here in the United States because they've been here for a while. We'll have to really talk about that one. It is being reported that the Israeli Air Force has landed planes at Saudi Arabia's airfields. At the same time, U.S. and Israeli warships are moving toward Iran. Furthermore, Israeli Defense Minister Ehud Barak is in the U.S. for talks concerning Iran. Things don't look good. We'll talk about it today on Politics and Religion.
Look, there are two things I don't discuss: politics and religion.
In my house, we don't talk about politics and we don't talk about religion.
I'll talk to you about anything except politics and religion.
I never talk about politics and religion.
Politics determines how we'll live here on earth. Religion determines how we'll live forever. I'm Irvin Baxter. I think it's time we talk about it.
Well, it would be nice if everything stayed the same. We didn't have to worry about anything. Nobody was out to enslave us. The politicians were satisfied with the amount of power they have. They weren't continually seeking to expand their control over life. That would be nice. But presently, it's not the way it is. Will it happen in the millennium under the rulership of Jesus Christ? Absolutely. But right now, it simply is not so. We go from one crisis to the other right now. One reason this happens is because we've got out of the habit of winning our wars. Instead, we always fight them to a draw. Then we sort of form an armistice and just let it lay there festering instead of winning the victory and walking away.